All right, let's go ahead and write this radical in simplified form. And we're also going to have to rationalize. And I'll explain what I mean in a second. So we're going to simplify this to start. So I'm going to rewrite this as the square root of 5 over the square root of 18. Now, what does rationalize mean? It means basically we want to get rid of the square root in the denominator. Okay, now how do we do this? Well, we're going to multiply by the square root of 18 over the square root of 18. And we can do that because the square root of 18 over the square root of 18 is simply 1. So we're multiplying by 1. Okay, now rules of square roots state that the square root of a times the square root of b is equal to the square root of ab. So all I have to do when I'm multiplying across here is multiply 5 times 18 and I get 90. Now the square root of 18 times the square root of 18, and you don't have to write this down, but let's talk about it, is equal to the square root of 18 quantity squared. And we should know now that squares and square roots are inverses, so this is simply going to be 18. All right, now we have rationalized the denominator, but it is not in simplified form. So what I can do is rewrite my numerator as the square root of 9 times the square root of 10 all over 18. And what is the square root of 9? What's the square root of 9? It is 3, so I can write this as 3 root 10 over 18. And you might say, are we done? I'll say, well, really close, because we can still simplify by doing divide by 3 here, divide by 3 here, and that's going to give me simply a root 10, or you can think of it as a 1 root 10 over 6. And now we have done two things. We have both simplified it and we have rationalized it, meaning that there's no square root in the denominator. All right, let's try this one. Now, when we're multiplying square roots, you can rewrite this if you want as square root of 1 over square root of 2, square root of 5 over square root of 6. You don't really have to. But a square root of 1 times a square root of 5 is going to be just a square root 5. The square roots don't cancel with the squared because you don't have the same number being multiplied. This here is going to be the square root of 12. Now we're going to multiply by root 12 over root 12. Root 12 times root 12 is simply 12, and 5 times 12 is 60. We do keep the square root because those two numbers are different. Okay, we've rationalized the denominator, but what two numbers multiply to 60 give me something that I can reduce? Well, that's going to be equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 15, because 4 times 15 is 60. And now I can rewrite this as 2 root 15 over 12. And last but not least, I can go ahead and go divide by 2, and this is going to give me a root 15 over 6.